أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإيمانا وفقها في الدين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وتجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا يا رب العالمين. So this is the 16th hadith by Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu. So he said, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أوصني، فقال لا تغضب، فردد مرارا قال لا تغضب. So this is the 16th hadith in this collection by Imam An-Nawawi. So this hadith by Abu Huraira Abdul Rahman bin Sakhar. We've already discussed the biography of this companion. So let's go straight to the hadith. Now, Abu Huraira said, أن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. A man said to the Prophet, Ya Rasulallah, awsini, O the Messenger of Allah. A man said to the Prophet, Ya Rasulallah, he said, O the Messenger of Allah, awsini, admonish me or give me an advice or advise me. awsini. And then فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تغضب. The Prophet said to him, do not be angry. فردد مرارا. And then the man continued saying, he said severally, أوصني, advise me. So that's the meaning of فردد مرارا. So meaning the man repeated his what? His request severally. Yeah, فردد مرارا. Right? So فردد مرارا, it means that the man who requested for an advice from the Prophet, he repeated his request or his question severally. Right? So Abu Huraira said, Anna rajulan, a man said to the Prophet, Ya Rasulallah, O the Messenger of Allah, awsini, advise me. And then the Prophet said to him, La taghdab. Right? And then he asked the Prophet again, awsini, he wants something in addition. He thought when he requests for another request or another advice, the Prophet will advise him with what? With something different. And the Prophet repeated, La taghdab. And then the man repeated for the third time, awsini. And then the Prophet said, La taghdab, for the third time. So and then there's a narration that's mentioned that the Prophet said, La taghdab thalathan, 3 times. Right? And then that's the style of what the companions and the style of the Prophet himself. There's a hadith of Ibn Mas'ud that said, سألت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الذنب أعظم. I asked the Prophet, what is the greatest sin? What is the most grievous sin? And the Prophet said, Al-Ishraq billah. And then Ibn Mas'ud asked him again, ثم أي? And then what? And he said, أن تقتل ولدك خشية أن يأكل معك. To kill your what? Your child because of what? The fear of poverty. قلت ثم أي? And then he asked for what? Then what else? Then قال أن تزاني بحليلة جارك. That is to commit a fornication or adultery with what? With your wife's with your neighbor's wife. Right? To commit fornication or adultery with your neighbor's wife. So here, you can see that Ibn Mas'ud asked the Prophet 3 questions. The Prophet he answered the first question, then he asked him ثم أي. Right? ثم أي. So same thing happened to what? To this man. He asked the Prophet, he requested, he said, Ya Rasulallah, awsini. O Messenger of Allah, advise me. So the Prophet said, La taghdab. Do not be angry. So here, in this narration, he said, Anna rajulan, a man. So normally, scholars, commentators of hadith, they try to understand, they try to know, to find out who is this man. Is there someone they know, right? And what led to the question, to this request? So some said there is a companion by the name Abu Darda. So some scholars, some commentators said this companion, this man in question is what? His name is Abu Darda. So this Abu Darda, he died in the year 32. And then some scholars said also there's a man called Jariyah ibn Qudama. This man in question is Jariyah ibn Qudama. That's the name of the man. But according to one scholar, also Yahya, he said, no, this can't be what? The man in question, the man who came to the Prophet. Because Jariyah ibn Qudama is not among the Sahabas. It's not from the Sahabas. It's not a Sahabi. Right? He came after what? After the period of, after the era of what? The Sahaba. So he can be what? He can be the man in what? In that hadith. He can be the man who came to the Prophet. Do you get it? So here, it could be Abu Darda, it could be a different man. Perhaps Abu Huraira know him or he don't know him. And then mostly in such cases, they don't mention the name of what? The name of what? The companion who came to, except if there's it's something remarkable, then they will mention the name of what? Of the companion. You get it? But mostly they will say Anna Rajulan. Alright? Alright. So the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, La taghdab. Do not be angry. And then the man repeated, he wanted more from the Prophet. And the Prophet kept what? Repeating the same one, the same answer, the same advice. La taghdab. So here, let's understand. What does it mean, La taghdab? La taghdab. Do not be angry. I mean, do not be angry. What do we understand from it? Here the Prophet is telling him, he's advising him, do not be angry. And that's all. So what does it mean? What do you understand from this? La taghdab. Okay. Nothing comes to mind, right?
Don't be angry.
Do not be angry. What do you understand from it?
If anything happens, you don't be angry.
Do not be angry. Huh? Do you have something to say? What do you understand from this statement? Do not be angry.
What I understand is that no matter what someone sees you or does, you
Must remain calm, right? Should remain calm. Should not be angry. You're repeating the same thing. Okay. All right. So, Shoaib.
Everything needs to calm in a certain situation.
You're on the same madhab.
But let me ask something. Like, because sometimes if you get angry, it's also everything.
Okay.
Yeah, you was angry.
All right. So, here, there are certain statements of the Prophet. The Prophet don't mean exact what he say. Not all, not in all circumstances. There are certain things. He's referring to something in connection with that particular statement, not the statement in particular. So, if we understand the statement, do not be angry, the word in the literal meaning of what? The the statement, anger is something inevitable. It's something that occurs, whether we like it or not. Right? Whether we like it or not, it's something that what? That happened, that occurred. Due to what? Due to some external factors that we may have control over it or may not have control over it. You get it? So the prophet can't mean, or the prophet don't mean, just don't be angry. Right? Because we will mention examples where the prophet ﷺ himself was angry. Right? So it can't be, or the prophet is not referring to what? To just mere anger. Do not be angry. Because you have no control over what will make you angry. Do you get it? You have no control over what make you angry. So here, scholars try to understand this hadith. Some said the Prophet ﷺ is telling this man that he should He should cultivate. He should try to instill or inculcate good qualities, good morals that will prevent him from from getting angry. Does this make sense? Is it clear? Okay, it means that there are certain qualities, when you have them, it will be difficult for you to to be angry. Or even if you find yourself angry, furious, you can control and suppress the anger. Do you get? That is, if you are merciful. If you are merciful, if you are kind, if you are calm, you are generous, you are considerate, you are what? It becomes difficult for you to become angry. And even if you become angry, you'll be able to You'll be able to control your anger. Do you get it? So here, the Prophet ﷺ is advising this man in question indirectly that he should He should cultivate good moral conduct. Do you get it? Because if the man is able to do that, he will be able to safeguard himself from anger, or this conduct or qualities will help him control his anger. And then the second meaning that scholars gave to this hadith was that the Prophet ﷺ was advising him to stay away from anything that could trigger his anger or trigger one's anger. So anything that let's say anything that if it's done to you, it will cause you to be angry. Do not do it. Do not do that to others. Right? So you should stay away from from things that will cause anger. Okay, so when you insult someone, definitely the person will insult you back, right? And when someone insults you, you don't be you will not be happy to hear someone insulting you, right? So what do?
Yeah.
You become angry, right? So what do you do in that circumstance? No, do not insult.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you insult someone, he will insult you back. When you slap someone, the person will slap you back. And this will cause you what? This will cause the anger. So stay away from things that will cause you anger. Do you get it? So if you make fun of people also make fun of you. And you will not be happy. Right? So stay away from From those things. So these are some of the interpretations that some scholars give to this particular statement. All right, so now there are a few things I want us to look at. We will look at how do you control your anger, right? Because we said it's something that you have it's caused by some external factors that you may have control, may not have control by it. So So when you become angry, what do you have to do? According to the Sunnah, what is the recommendation of the Sunnah? How do you suppress the anger? Right? And then, do we have good anger and bad anger? Or not? So we will also look at that. You get it? All right, so now, these are the two interpretations that scholars gave this hadith, or they understood from this statement of the Prophet ﷺ. All right, so now let's look at anger. There are two things. These two things are the main causes of all evil. Two main things, right? Two main things. That is desire and anger. Desire and what? And anger. So these two things are what are the main causes of what? Of all evil, right? So with desire, it causes what? Fornication, adultery, stealing, and all these acts, immoral acts. It's as a result of what? Of desire. So if you have excessive desire and you have no control over it, what will happen? It pushes you into what? Into this immoral act. And if you have a very strong desire for wealth, money, right? What will happen? If you don't have it and then you've not work on things that will make you earn your legal income, what will happen? It will lead you to stealing and then even killing, right? So that's desire. And then second is what? Is anger. So that's what the Prophet ﷺ admonished a man to stay away from. He said, do not be angry. So this anger, it's also the cause of what? Many evil acts. And these acts, that anger, causes is what? Is all haram. As a result of anger, you insult, you backbite, it will even lead to what? To murder, right? And also slandering, and all these these immoral acts. All these are what? Are haram. But you can stay away from it just by what? By controlling your Your anger and then your desire. You understand? So these two things are what? The root of what? Of all evil. Right? That's anger and desire. Right? So now let's look at how do you control your anger. We said anger is this emotional feeling that you have due to some external factors, right? These factors you may have control over it or you may not, right? So now let's say that you become angry due to an external factor that you have no control over it. So how do you suppress? How do you contain this anger? How do you do that according to the recommendation of Sunnah? So here, when you are angry, now the Prophet ﷺ recommend that when you're angry and you are standing, what do? You sit. Right? When you're angry and you are standing, you should what? You should sit. And when you are seated and still angry, what do? You lie down. Right? Yeah, you lie down. And then also, another recommendation is that when you find yourself angry, right, what do? You perform ablution. Right? The Prophet said, Inna al-ghadaba min ash-shaytan. Wa inna ash-shaytana khuliqa wa inna ash-shayatina khuliqa min nar. Wa innama tudfi'u an-nara bil-ma. Fa idha ghadiba ahadukum falyatawadda. He said that anger is from shaitan. A shaitan who causes what? Anger. Meaning he whispers in you about something that you don't want to hear. and then you become what? Angry. Right? So it's from shaitan. And he said, and the devils, shayateen, are what? They are created of fire. They were created from what? From fire. Right? And then we only extinguish fire with what? With water. So if you find yourself angry, what do? Perform ablution. So when you do that, you what? You extinguishes the what? The fire or the traces of fire, that is the anger in you. You get it? Okay. And another thing that we have to keep in mind is that when you are angry, remember the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. Remember the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, when you are angry and you want to retaliate because of something that happened, remember the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then suppress, control, and contain your anger. When you do that, Allah will have mercy on you. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, Man kaffa ghadabahu, kaffa Allahu anhu adaba. Whoever suppresses or contain his anger whenever he is angry, Allah distance the servant from what? From his punishment. Right? Man kaffa ghadabahu, kaffa Allahu anhu adaba. Right? And Allah also praised those who suppresses their anger when they are angry. He said, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Right? So he's praising he was mentioning some qualities of the believers. And he said, among these qualities are these 7, they suppresses their anger whenever they are offended. Right? وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and they pardon people. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah loves what? The righteous servant, or his righteous servants, or the righteous one. Right? So here, when you are angry, you remember the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And then secondly, you also remember that you need mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want Allah to be merciful on you. So what do? You suppress your anger and then become also merciful on the person who offended you, so that you can also gain the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Prophet ﷺ also said, Man la yarham, la yurham. Whoever is not merciful to others, Allah will not be merciful to him. You understand? So we have to remember all this, the power of Allah, the mercy of Allah, since we all want Allah to be merciful to us and then forgive him. So now let's look at do we have a good anger and a bad anger, or anger is all bad? What do you think, brothers? Do you have good anger? Okay, so this is your mother.
I think there is good anger.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
There's also a bad anger.
Okay.
So the bad anger, I think we all know. I mean, the bad anger we all know. But the good anger, I can give example.
Let's start with the bad anger. What? Because we don't know.
Okay. So the bad anger is maybe someone has offended you.
Okay.
And you couldn't suppress your anger.
Yeah.
Maybe let's say the person maybe stole your money.
Okay.
For example. You couldn't suppress your anger, and you insulted the person.
Okay.
You hit the person.
Okay.
Something like that. That's what the bad.
Okay.
And the bad anger. The bad anger. The good anger. Sorry.
Okay, the good anger. So we are done with the bad anger. Okay. Okay.
But the good anger. Let's say you see that a Muslim brother is not praying.
Okay.
He's not praying.
Okay.
I got angry at him for him not praying.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so this anger is a good anger.
It's a good anger.
Okay,
For his acts.
Okay.
Not praying.
okay.
Maybe I'm not going to do anything bad to him, but I'm just angry at him for he didn't.
For him not praying.
Yes, for him not praying.
Mm. Okay. So this Imam Ilyas's madhab on good anger and bad anger. So do you have
Yes, I
something?
remember I believe Al-Ahbab.
Mhm.
Wayabu Boba level or something like if I think there's a lot of Wayabu level, Wayabu Boba level over there. Like you get angry because of Allah, something like that.
Okay. All right. So is there any other contribution on good anger or bad anger? So in all your mazhab, we have only bad anger, right? We don't have good anger. Is that what you're saying? Or no comment? All right. So yes, we can say there's a good anger and then there's a bad anger. Okay. So the good anger is the anger that you become angry because of something, the right of Allah, the right of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala has been violated, right? So you become what? You become angry for what? For that. So this is a good anger, right? This is what? A good anger. So when you look at the life of some companions and the life of the Prophet, and also the life of some of the Prophet and then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you find example of this type of anger. Okay, whenever they insult him, of course the non-believers insulted him, they humiliated him, disrespected him severally, but he never what? He never defended or fought for himself, right? But whenever the right of Allah is being violated, he becomes so angry, right? So this is what is a type of what? A good anger. You become angry for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the right of Allah or some symbols of Allah is being, violated or humiliated, you become what? You become angry. This is a good anger. Okay. So now, this good anger, sometimes people misinterpret it or they misunderstand the concept of good anger. They think that if a right of Allah or a symbol of Allah or something in the religion is being violated, you become angry for Allah. This is good. But when you become angry for Allah, what do? Yes, it's good to be angry for Allah. But when you are angry for Allah, what do? So now, because of this misconception of angry for Allah, when people become angry for Allah, then they disobey Allah and disobey the Prophet and also encroach on what? Those people who have what? Violated the right of Allah. Now, you find someone, the person will say, I'm calling towards Allah and I'm angry for Allah because of what people did. And then you see this person who is angry for Allah, insulting these people. He's cursing them. He's slandering them. He's saying things that is not befitting. So now, this insult is a sin in Islam. To insult someone, no matter what the person does, it is haram to insult. Yes. It is haram to insult. It is haram. No matter, see, even if someone, let's say a Muslim, decided to worship an idol in front of you, right? You know what? You have no right to insult the person. You can be angry for Allah, but you have no right to insult the person. You have no right to curse the person, right? Yeah. So if you are angry for Allah, it should be within the teachings and the commandment of Allah. You hear some time ago that someone insulted the Prophet. This is a blasphemy, right? This is a blasphemy. We all know we will not condone this. But yes, and then we have to be angry for Allah and the Prophet. But to what extent? What do you have to do when you're angry for Allah and the Prophet? Right? You don't have to go and kill because you're angry for Allah. Don't forget that Allah has prohibited killing. Right? You are angry for Allah. So you should be the first to what? To obey Him. You get it? So if you don't obey Allah, so what's the point of being angry for Allah? Do you get it? So when you're angry for Allah, you what? You don't have to what? You don't have to transgress on other people's rights. You don't have to insult. You don't have to curse them. You don't have to backbite. You don't have to slander them. Do you get it? So it has to be what? Your anger should what? Should just express your what? Your displeasure of what others have done, so that they can what? They can reverse what they've done or change. But see, if your anger for Allah won't change anything to good, to better, then there's no need to be angry for Allah. If your anger will cause more harm than good, then your anger for Allah has it's not important. You get it? Yeah. So and then we can find example of this good anger, angry for Allah. You find this in the life of the Prophet and even in the life of some of the prophets. Let's look at the life of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he was one of the prophet who really faced a lot from his people. Right? He was really tested by his people. Right? So his people were really stubborn. Right? So he tried to teach them, to keep them on track, to monitor them. So once Allah invited him to talk to him, or to have a conversation, or reveal something to him. So he went and then left his people with Harun. Right?
Yes.
So as Allah said, Allah mentioned this in Surah Al-Araf and also Surah Taha. So he said, وَمَا أَعْجَلَكَ عَنْ قَوْمِكَ يَا مُوسَى قَالَ هُمْ أُولَاءِ عَلَى أَثَرِي وَعَجِلْتُ إِلَيْكَ رَبِّي لِتَرْضَى قَالَ فَإِنَّا قَدْ فَتَنَّا قَوْمَكَ مِنْ بَعْدِكَ وَأَضَلَّهُمُ السَّامِرِينَ. And what happened? فَرَجَعَ مُوسَى إِلَى قَوْمِهِ غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا. So here, Allah is saying, وَمَا عَجَلَكَ عَنْ قَوْمِكَ يَا مُوسَى. Oh Musa, why did you leave your people and hasten to me? So because Musa alayhi salatu, he left his people to come and what? To come and talk and speak with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Musa said, وَمَا عَجَلَكَ عَنْ قَوْمِكَ يَا مُوسَى قَالَ هُمْ أُولَئِكَ عَلَى أَثَرِ. They what? They were on track, meaning they were acting in accordance of my teachings. Right? Mm-hmm. So I left them with what? With Harun. And I rushed to you, I hastened to you, so that you what? You'll be pleased.
Yes.
Wow. This is a very good thing. And then Allah informed him that we've tested you. Allah said, Inna qad fatanna qawmaka min ba'dik. We've tested your people after you've left them. Right? So he was tested. So what did they do? They worship a calf after he has left. And then Harun was there. He was trying to put them on track, but they did not listen to him. And then Allah informed us. What happened? Musa came back. He was so furious and sorrowful. فَرَجَعَ مُوسَى إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ غَضْبَانَ أَسِفًا. He came back so furious, so mad, sorrowful. But now, what did Musa do when he came back? Musa was so angry. Yes, even though he held, according to the literal meaning, he held the hair or the beard of what? Of his brother Harun. But this literally, I mean, in this, that's what the wording of the words the verse says. But it means that he has rebuked what he has done. You understand? Because he was what? He was angry, but he did not do anything what? Anything bad. You get it? Musa did not do anything like that. Right? So here it teaches us what? And then he came and tried to what? To correct what they have done. So you could see he did not beat up or kill Samiri. He said, Wama khatbuka ya Samiri. Oh Samiri, why did you do what you did? Why did you mislead my people? Right? He did not beat him up. So Samiri also explained himself. So here this is a good type of what? Anger. You get it? So also when we look at the story of Yunus, right? He got angry and left his people because of what they were doing, right? But later came back. But before he left, he was angry, but did not do anything bad. So there's a good anger. They are angry for Allah, but they don't violate other people's rights, right? So in the life of the Prophet, there are many instances that he was what? He was angry. And whenever he's angry, you could see that from his what? From his face. You understand? There was a time that someone stole something, and then the law says that when you steal, of course there are certain conditions. When these conditions are met, your hand should be amputated. So someone came to intercede for the thief, and then the Prophet got what? He got angry. Said, why are you interceding in the right of Allah? He got angry, but did not insult, did not curse anyone. And also, there were instances. He once came, he entered his house, and then they had this curtain with painting on it. They painted like a human being also. And then he didn't like it. He was so angry, and that anger was seen from his face. You understand? And then he took that curtain off without saying anything to anyone. So there are several instances in the life of the Prophet, right? He became angry for Allah because of certain things that, because of the laws of Allah, something in the religion has been violated. But he don't curse, he don't also insult. You understand? So this example of of good anger. So you become angry for Allah, but when you are angry for Allah, you should know you should not also violate other people's right. You should not insult and curse. So contrary to what we see today, people claim they are angry for Allah, and when they are angry, then they disobey Allah. They disobey the Prophet. They step on people's right. They insult. They slander and do all kind of things. This is not right. I hope it's clear. Any question? All right. So
This is what you mentioned. Really happen in a group of people. These people, maybe at this group and the rest. It's really group
yeah.
happening.
I hope it's clear. Any question?
Yeah, my question is, when and something happened, like you were in your room and a thief come there to steal or something, and but they try to attack you, and you too, you're trying to defend yourself and fighting with them, and maybe you hit one or maybe one that. Does that want to go against the maybe good anger or
No, this if you sit without defending yourself, you're sinful. Yes. When you sit without defending yourself, you're sinful. And then when you sit for them to kill you and take your property, you contributed to your killing. You're also sinful. So you have to what? You have to defend yourself. Even if it will lead to killing one, it is good. You are not sinful for that. Yes. Yeah. So you have to defend your property, you have to defend your life, you have to defend your dignity. When you die in that cause, you are a martyr. Yes. So this does not fall under anger. No, this you are in your comfort zone, and they came to what? To take what belongs to you. You have to fight. And now back to what Imam said. He said, when, let's say, you have a friend and the person does not pray, and you are angry with the person because the person don't pray. So this, first of all, you have to ask yourself, when you show your anger towards the person because he don't pray, would that anger change something? If, let's say, you have authority over the person and then you show anger towards what the person is doing, if that will make the person change, then you have to do it. But if it will not do anything, the person will even distance himself away from you, then there's no point of showing what this anger. You understand? You try to encourage him to do what you can to help him pray. You understand? So a scholar was asked, okay, what is the ruling of a Muslim who don't pray? So he was asked this question, and people were expecting him that they were expecting he would say this is a kafir. He said to them, it's your responsibility to take him to the mosque to pray, or to encourage him to go to the mosque to pray, but not to insult him or to curse him or to even declare him as a kafir. You understand? So this we have to understand the religion or the hadith or the texts in its right context. I hope it's clear. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Then let's pause here and continue on Monday, inshallah. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.